Hey everybody, it's your boy Helios, and you'll be surprised at what people will say around a light-voiced AFAB. So, here's a little update from what's going on in Minneapolis, over on Portland Avenue, where the life of Renee Nicole Good, mother of 3-year-old, loving wife, her life was taken by an ICE agent who has now since been identified. But I'm not going to say his name here because fuck him. And this is, as of today, January 9th, in the year of our Lord, Rodney Hinton Jr., 2026. The protest that was today, that took place at 2, was mostly people doing interviews about the event and just about, life here around this trauma. And it was a rally. It goes as rally goes. The chants, the calls to action, people speaking, things like that. And one thing about our kinds of rallies and protests is we have food. So the food be bussin', the drinks be flowing. There was a barricade that was set up last night. The barricade was removed by the city because the neighbors did not want the street to be closed off. For those of you who don't know, Portland Avenue is a main thoroughfare and it's also a one-way. So I don't necessarily disagree with the neighbors on not wanting a barricade in their neighborhood with that going on. Every community is different, and Portland is not Chicago. So there's that. Also, it's a one-way, so I'm like, someone told me that the neighbors haven't slept in 2 days because of what happened, but that's a pretty vague explanation to me. So what happened with George Floyd is that there were agitators coming in and setting off fireworks and causing all kinds of noise and stuff like that. But that was a thing that could be articulated. This person just told me that they haven't slept in 2 days because of everything that's happened. And the protesters do stay overnight to make sure that the memorial isn't disturbed, but they are quiet. So as somebody who has experience with George Floyd, you can't really just tell me that the neighbors haven't slept in 2 days. And then I hear from another observer that some of the neighbors were thanking the police today who were present for today's rally at 2 p.m. I don't have any reason to believe that any of the neighbors on Portland Avenue have my or even their own liberation in mind. So I'm at the point where there are good people everywhere. There are good people on Portland Avenue. And there are some people that will continue to lick the boot as long as the boot does not step on their tongue. If you know what I mean. It's almost like fascism makes everyone's life harder. But there are always going to be people who are going to go along with the status quo because the status quo is benefiting them, or else it feels like it's benefiting them when really it's hurting everybody. The rally goers and the protesters marched from Portland and 34th to Lake and Pillsbury during rush hour, and then marched back. Interesting choice, but that is Somali Mall. That's the other location for Somali Mall. So, yeah. Another neighbor pointed out that there's something being left out of the narrative of what's going on here. So a few blocks away from where Renee's life was taken, there is a multilingual school. And keep in mind, Renee had just dropped off her child at school when this happened. So another incident of ICE stalking schools, trying to detain parents, harming children, harming staff of schools, etc. Damn, it's almost like the brown coats are here. Um, what else I got? Oh, I think that's it. Yeah, well, I do want to say something else. So I don't like. I'll. A part of me will believe that the neighbors were kept awake by something. It's just like it wasn't the protesters, and to say something like that and to say it so vaguely only shines a bad light on the protesters when there aren't details given, whereas in any other case that I have experienced, even Wince Way, back when Winston Smith was murdered, people could describe things. We could articulate a point versus I don't really have reason to trust these people. So yeah, for those of you who are interested, that's what happened. Nothing terribly interesting. Sites like these become very good for people who have food insecurities because there's a lot of food, a lot of drinks, everything is free. And the Somali people were there, so there was Somali tea. Peak. But now that MPD has gotten involved because Jacob Fry has told MPD to get ICE the fuck out of here. It's like and people just being so okay with it, and even people thanking MPD for being there. This is how I know that I shouldn't trust them. Because 5 years ago, it was MPD. It's always going to be us versus the elites. No matter who or what that looks like. And to act like MPD is suddenly not a part of that system because we're facing a different threat it's a lot of things. Because it is a willful ignorance to engage with MPD as though MPD and ICE are not a part of the same system. They are both about the elite. They are both the elitist class dogs that are to be unleashed upon us. It's just right now the girls are fighting. But when the girls are done fighting, they're going to turn back on us. So keep that in mind.